Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And today we're going to go over some Blackhawks news. There seems to be quite a bit of Blackhawks news, and it all came out within the past couple of days, and some NHL news. So, Matt, on the top of the board, we got Chelios going to get his number retired. This is, I would probably say, I wouldn't say controversial topic, but I would say this is a topic that a lot of Chicago Blackhawks fans are talking about right now, because the elephant in the room is Brent Seabrook. He is he's the number 7 for an entire generation of Blackhawks fans that grew up watching the team winning. Unfortunately, when we were younger, watching the Blackhawks, Chelly was our number 7 watching, and they never won a cup. So I think that there's definitely some very upset people that Seabrook is not going to be able to get his number retired with Chelios. Now, the Blackhawks did put out some new requirements, which I'll get into. I'll list all of the new requirements for getting your number retired now. But Matt, what do you think about Chelly and this kind of odd timing of him getting his number retired?
It's weird, man. This, if anything, this should have been done a while ago when Brent Seabrook was still playing type of thing. I just don't, I don't get it. Maybe it was a deal they had with, you know what? I remember you mentioning it. Like it was part of the agreement they had. If he becomes an ambassador, he wants his number retired. I think you mentioned it before a while ago, maybe. But, yeah, man, like I sent out a really passionate tweet, I guess. I said, like you kind of just said, we both grew up in the 90s, and he was the man, he was the man, he was the captain. A lot of kids that followed hockey, not many in the city and the state, had Chelios jerseys. I mean, that was like the captain at the time. He was the stud defenseman that we got from Montreal, and he was good, and I think he played 664 games, 92 goals, 395 assists, 487 points. Very impressive. For me, hearing him say that he would never play for Detroit, he would waive that trade and say no, and just to, end up getting traded there and re-signing with him for the next 10 years it hurt me. People tell me to get over it, and, some things you don't get over, and
you're not alone, man. There's a lot of people that feel that way. It was a great rivalry. I know a lot of kids today, they're not going to experience the Red Wing, Blackhawks rivalry because the NHL killed it. They moved, Detroit to the East, and it killed a great rivalry. But in the 90s, man, it was crazy. I remember going to games with my dad. There were fights in the stands, and it was insane. And it's bad, man. It's kind of like this rumor of Patrick Kane going to Detroit. It would be like almost the same thing for these kids growing up, but it's not going to be a big deal to them as it is to the older guys. It's like, what the hell's he thinking? He's going to go over there, But that's how it was for us, and I mean, I took it freaking hard. And for me, I think Brent Seabrook was a better Blackhawk, and getting the cup 3 times and being a big part of it is why, for me. I mean, this guy played Duncan Keith minutes. I mean, they 25, 30 minutes a game in the playoffs. He was a monster, dude, and he was a very underrated leader. I mean, do you remember when Taves was having his episode in the penalty box? Oh, man, Steve
skated over there and said, hey, get your shit together. Get your head out of your ass. Let's go. And the dude he was a monster. He scored one of the best cup, or what was it? Was that Game 7? He scored the OT winner against Detroit. And
ironically,
it was just turn of the tide. Like we had their number, it's our turn.
They've been beating us for like 15 years straight, man. And then finally, we meet them in the playoffs again. We actually lost to them the year before in the Western Conference Finals. We meet them again with with Marian Hossa on the other side of that for like the third time and third year in a row.
That was 2013, right? When Siebes did that.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah, that was, man. He really showed up in overtime games. Siebes was a monster in OT games, and
I was
He was
lucky
just
enough.
reliable.
Oh God, I met him a couple times, and dude, he's a stand-up guy. He talks to you, and I met Chelios too when I was a kid. He was cool too, but it was just different back then. Like they didn't really, have all the stuff the meet and greets and stuff. It was just like you didn't know about it, and you had all the social media now to say, "Hey, we're having a fan convention" type of thing. And Chelly got kind of screwed over. They didn't have that stuff, but no doubt about it, great player Chelly was. Just Siebes for me is the number 7, and I just think it's bad timing to. I honestly would find it more respectable if they both retired the number together. It would be weird. Like you got a number 7 up there retired, and then 2-3 years later, Siebes is going to get his retired. I don't know, man. It's weird to me seeing the same number, and I know. Number 3's retired with Pierre Pilat and Keith Magnuson. But if you think about it, like, Keith Magnuson was nowhere near what Pierre Pilat was. Like, Pierre Pilat was a very good defenseman back in the day. But he just meant so much to the team. And, he did a lot with the Blackhawks off the ice. And it was a good honor for him. They had to do it. I understand. But this is something that, it should be done together. If not, I mean, if you got to pick one, I think Siebes should have the honor alone and make Chelly just like what he is, an ambassador type of thing and whatever.
So, I think Chelly, he, based on, what the requirements are. Yeah, he checks off all the boxes, and I think that it is a cool honor for him. I've always been a fan of his. Even when he went to Detroit, he didn't wear the same number. He changed his number. And I was heartbroken too, but I think that in a way he is deserving of getting his number retired. At the same time, if I had to pick one, I think that it should be Siebes, because Siebes won 3 cups with this team. He was a lifelong Blackhawk. He never played with another team. And that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal to me. I'm going to read off the new guidelines for jersey retirement for the Blackhawks. They just released this, okay? And here are the requirements. A player must be retired for at least 3 years, which doesn't include long-term injured reserve. A minimum of 8 years and 500 games played with the Blackhawks for skaters, 400 games played with the team for goaltenders. Hockey Hall of Famer, or has played at least 1,000 games, 700 for a goaltender. Played more games with the Blackhawks than any other team during NHL career. Among the most prolific Blackhawks at his position, as evidenced by on-ice performance, all-star selections, and major NHL awards. Exhibited and continues to exhibit strong off-ice character. Oh, that's a key one right there, obviously, because you know who they're talking about that one. Change the game of hockey. Additional consideration will be given to members of the Stanley Cup winning teams with the Blackhawks, along with the entire body of work by a player to the organization, which includes time as a broadcaster and ambassador. They're talking about Patrick Sharp right there. In addition, the Blackhawks have set the precedent that the same number can be retired twice, and it doesn't necessarily have to be done at the same time. Brent Seabrook, of course, is a player that comes to mind for the Chelios announcement, given that they share a number. He fits the criteria, but Seabrook will not be eligible to have his jersey retired until 2027, since he's still under contract with an NHL team. So,
okay.
So, there it is. They're considering Sharp for number 10. If they do that, they should retire. They should put Amani's name on that banner as well.
I was just gonna say that
because he was with this team, man, and he meant the world to this team, meant the world to the fans, because everybody was gone, man, and this guy was still holding it down. I think that they should, if they're going to give this to Chelly, I think that they should give it to Amani as well.
Well, look at this. 627 games played with the Blackhawks. Tony Amani. 9 years. And he had 541 points, and he was a plus 67. The closest team to that, many games played, was 3 years in New York. That was his rookie entry contract. 234. So 627 games is a lot of games. And like you said, dude, these teams were bad when he was here. He was still potting in 40 goals. And I think he's a 5-time All-Star. Maybe 6 with the Blackhawks. So I don't think they will, but
they should.
They should, and he should share it with Sharpie. Abso-freaking-lutely.
And I'm going to say, and if they put Sharp in, well, okay, so here's the thing. Sharp won 3 Stanley Cups with the team.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
That puts him in rare air. As a matter of fact, if you won 3 Stanley Cups with this team, you should have your number retired. They should tell Seth Jones that you need to take off the number off of your jersey and pick 44. Patrick Poulin probably won't have a problem with it. Okay. And they need to put Hammer's number 4 into the rafters.
Well, that's the thing. So, I mean, it's just weird to me. Like what happens if that, like, you know what I'm saying? So we can have two numbers can get retired, but what if, like, one of the guys that's going to get retired, there's a current active player wearing it? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's a little confusing. I think that the locker room, well, now everybody's gone, but I mean, if anybody who's ever in charge of the jersey numbers, that guy's got to have a brain. You know, say, hey, you can't wear 2. You can't wear 19. You can't wear 88. You can't. Don't even try. You know? And that's what should have been done with Seth Jones.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And someone dropped the ball. And that's somebody bad in who's ever in charge of that. Or even Taser saying, hey, that's Hammer's number. That's my boy. You know, You're not wearing that. I'm glad you're here, kid. But nah, you can't wear that. And I know for a fact the Cubbies back in the day, I believe when Kerry Wood was traded, they didn't let anyone wear 34 in the locker room. Like they refused it, and they kept the locker for him still. That's how much he meant.
Yeah.
See, and that's the kind of mentality you need when it comes to that stuff. Like, hey, that's my guy. You're not wearing that number around me, no doubt.
I think the thing about it too is that, I mean, Hammer's been gone for what, 5-6 years now?
Yeah, he officially just retired, I think, too.
Yeah, but he's been with Arizona, so he's been gone a bit. But I do believe that they missed the ball on that, man.
Yeah, that's just bad. People got to think, you know, like these guys, their careers are coming to an end, and eventually you're going to have to retire these numbers with that run they had. Someone should have said, hey, listen, man, Nicholas Jarmelson was huge to this franchise. 3 Cups, blocking machine, one of the best stay-at-home defensemen of all time here. You can't. You cannot put number 4 on. Don't even ask. But they did it, so.
Yeah.
So, hey, dude, Sharpie, just jumping back over to Sharpie, I popped his stats up. He played 11 years with the Hawks. That's 1 more year than Amani. And he played 749 games. I think I said 6, maybe 100 more games, but Amani still had more points.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I know the 3 Cups overrules a lot, but
it does,
just saying, Amani had some unbelievable numbers.
He did. But before we go any further, I got to let everybody know that football is back in full swing with another week of epic games. And who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Now, get in the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SHYTOMAHAWK to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SHYTOMAHAWK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. So back to Amani. Back to these old guys. Belfour. Does Eddie get his number retired?
You know what, man? I don't know too many goalies that wore 30 after him. Maybe a couple here and there, but
yeah.
Yeah, for me, yes, because the dude was an absolute freaking. He never was drafted. He signed a free agent. He stole the net away, pretty much. Mike Keenan gave it to him. This kid's too good to be on the bench, and didn't get that cup. But man, Vezna's, Calders,
he did get that cup with the Hawks.
Wins. You know, and Belfour's even admitted he was very young and inexperienced. He said he had some troubles with some. He didn't say soft goals, but he did give up a couple questionable goals when he was with the Blackhawks and in big games. But he said when he went to Dallas, he really the maturity was better and the focus was better, and that's why he was so dominant. And actually, he was better than Dominik Hasek here. Yeah. No doubt about it. They had to let the Dominator go. I mean, they probably thought he had some potential, but
they had no idea.
Just on, dude. He was just on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think he's got over. I think he's second in wins with the Blackhawks behind Tony O and probably Glenn Hall, I'm assuming, and Corey Crawford's right there too, dude.
Do you think Crow gets his number retired?
I think Crow should.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm going to say it every time. I'm not quite the big fan of the way he played. I thought, you know, he had some questionable goals too that he gave up early in his career. But I'll tell you what, man, in 2013, he was a monster.
He was
a monster. And you know what? I think Ray Emery had a lot to do with it. That guy was right there, ready to take that net over. And Crow's like, if I don't play tough, this guy's going to steal my crease. And sure enough, Crow played awesome. He could have been the MVP that year, the Conn Smythe winner, but gave it to Kaner, and I think Kaner was even surprised he got it. But for sure, I think it would be cool to see Crow and Belfour both. You know, I'm just popped up Eddie's stats with the Blackhawks. He had 8 years here, and he had 201 wins and 138 losses, and his goals against average was. Oh, they don't have the average, but save percentage, let's see, all time, .903, goals against, 2.65. And he had 30 shutouts here.
Wow.
30 shutouts. So, I feel bad for the kids now, man. They and a lot of kids our age that missed out. Like, this guy was one of the best goalies of all time, and like they had no clue we had him. You know, before Crawford, I think Belfour was still the best goalie that we had, and that's a pretty big gap in a lot of years of different goalies coming through. It's almost like the Green Bay Packers quarterbacks against the Bears quarterbacks. You know, they had two in like 30 years, and then the Bears had like 30 in 30 years.
They had Brett Favre, and then they had. And then they had Aaron Rodgers, you know, and now they're saying this kid Jordan Love's really good, so we'll see.
It's crazy. It's crazy how it works out, but we had trouble. I think we're getting back to that. Like, we don't really have a dominant goalie like that. That's coming up. We're still maybe he's not even drafted yet. So, no doubt. Crawford, 2-time Stanley Cup champ. I think he deserves to be in the questioning of it, and I think Belfour should too. But I think Belfour might get snubbed. And, you know, I think Roenick will too, just because of the way it ended, you know, with the old man Wirtz and how it, you know, all the back and forth in the paper and the media and all that stuff. And, you know, they're probably going to be loyal to their dad and, now grandfather, Peter Wirtz, right?
Yeah,
is in charge. I forget.
Well, no, I think Danny's chairman now.
If I read
correctly, that said that he's chairman now.
So I don't think Danny's gonna like Roenick either, but Roenick was a freaking machine here too, which he deserves. You know, to be in the questioning of it too. I don't see it happening. It's just crazy though. Roenick's numbers retired in Phoenix, and you know he didn't play that long there, but it's retired.
That's all that they got though.
Well, yeah, they had Kachuk, and then, dude, once they got Roenick, that was a superstar, dude. Getting a superstar over there, that was amazing for them. And he, you know, I'm sure he had a lot to do with the 100 fans that they got over the decade, but...
Yeah, man. Yeah. I honestly think, man, I think that they might bury the hatchet, man, and bring Roenick back. Danny's not an idiot, man. He knows what's up. If Danny was smart,
he would be on the phone with Roenick to bring him in between the glass. Roenick is just that guy. I think he's just good, like at live updates type of thing, talking to you during a game. He'll give it to you straight, and it's not fake. You know, it's not like what some of these guys are just so like rehearsed, and they like Colby Cohen was it? He's like. He would say like just the proper terms. Roenick would, well, even Darren Pang did this with the Blues. He'd be in between the bench and holy jumping, you know, he would say his catchphrase and look at that. Like he would just, he'd feel like you're just watching the game with a fan. And I think Roenick would be like that too.
I think Colby Cohen got better as he went along.
Definitely found his role, man. Yeah, being that third guy.
Yeah, I liked him. I really liked him in between the boards. I thought that he was really good down there.
Seemed a little rehearsed at times, though. Like the main, like the brush line would say the mainstream answers and all like the normal type of.
Yeah, man, I actually liked him as time went on.
I think he'd be great. I think Roenick would be great in that role. Like interviewing the players, you know, like during the game or the coaches and stuff. And dude, he's just a people person, you know, people like always find their way to him and he's always goofing off and joking and, you know, he's probably really good with younger kids too, you know, like that's JR and he's, hey, what's up kid? You know, giving them fist bumps and stuff. I just think he'd be good for the organization. I think it would be cool, even bringing him back as an ambassador, like with Chelly. Just bring him and Chelly up there in the freaking press box, signing autographs during the game, walking around, and I mean, people like that, man. I mean, I love seeing the old school guys, sometimes more than the new school guys. So
yeah, I'd really like to see them do that. How many points do you think Bedard's going to score in his rookie season?
85.
85.
Yeah, I'm going. I
was gonna say 87.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get over 35 goals, maybe. It's going to be different from, obviously he's going to be facing against, you know, better goalies. He's going to be playing against other teams' top D. So I think a lot will be on the power play. I think Taylor Hall, if he stays healthy, is going to really help this kid, which I'm kind of excited. Maybe throw Lucas Reichel up with those guys a couple times. Could be good.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I think that he's going to get 32 goals and 69 assists.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. Because I think that he's going to be shooting, and I think maybe Radish might be down there just popping in rebounds, you know?
Could happen. Do you think that, I mean, can you imagine if he ended up being like Teemu Solani? Rookie year,
77 goals,
like 70 freaking goals. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, dude, the media—that's what the media is expecting out of this kid.
I mean, that'd be awesome. And that record-breaking goal, he throws his glove up there and does the duck hunt in honor of Teemu. That'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh, man! So, really quickly, I heard that Ottawa is paying Jake Sanderson big bucks, and he's only played 77 games. What do you know about that?
I don't know much about this guy, and I even asked like the Sens like Twitter people or X people, whatever you want to call them. And
the X people.
I will say
X-Men.
99% of them are okay with the deal. They were telling me this kid's the real deal. I was getting some clips sent to me of him with puck possession and a shot from the point. And I'm like, wow, isn't that it's a little like a Jack Hughes kind of contract right after the entry deal. At least Jack played 3 years, you know?
Yeah, he did.
And 77 games played, what, 950,000 straight to 8 something?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But hey, they all believe in him and they're happy. I think I got one guy saying typical Ottawa paying the.
I saw that.
Yeah. That was the only one. That was the one guy that said something, and I'm like, oh, okay. So, but a lot of them are really happy with it and they're excited. And you know what, dude? They're locking up these young guys. They got Brady locked up. I think Stutzel.
Stutzla.
This guy. I think the DeBrincat trade was a bust. It didn't work out.
Yeah, man.
They tried, maybe.
If you really think about it, that's actually really big, man. That's a really big deal because they could have drafted Kevin Korchinski.
Yeah, and that would have been even better for him.
Look at the position that they would be in having this young kid coming up now. He would definitely be playing.
Yeah, well, that just makes me nervous now. Like when Korchinski and Bedard, their 3 years are up. It's like, are these guys jumping to $8 million now? I mean, you base it off these other contracts,
Depending on Korchinski's, dependent on Korchinski's, I would probably say his production is going to determine on what he gets. But I would say at a bare minimum, if this kid plays good, he's going to be getting $8 million. Bedard is going to be getting that. Is probably going to be getting $15 million.
So our window is 3 years.
So if you say that he's going to score 77 goals in his rookie season,
I was just saying, can you imagine?
And he continues that, he will undoubtedly be getting $15 million.
So from all these NHL guys, man, these pros, they're saying like, dude, his shot is for real.
Yeah,
like Austin Matthews, watch out, type of thing. And I think Matthews is the best sniper in the league. I don't know about you. I think he's the best goal scorer in the league. Ovi's getting older, and it's time to move over for Matthews now. But Matthews is getting what, 13, or was it? Did it go up now? 14?
I think it went up a little bit. I thought he was getting 11, and he's getting a little bit more now.
Yeah,
so I think 13. But so here's the thing: Darren McCarty was doing an interview, and they were talking about who was better to play with in the interview, Fedorov or Datsuk, and he's like, man, there's two completely different players. Like Fedorov was like a sports car, and Datsuk was very different, and he's like, but Fedorov can pick corners so fast that you would barely see the puck going in. They'd be so fast, but when they hit you, it didn't really hurt that much. But if you took a puck from, say, someone like Al McInnes, where it's moving just as fast, they would be really, really heavy. And but he said Fedorov didn't have a really heavy shot, but it was just super fast. I wonder what Bedard's is like, because it seems quick. He's got a very quick release.
Very quick release, yeah.
And it seems like he's just whipping them, dude.
So I went to the game, where the Hawks and Leafs had that trade-off of goals. I think it was like a crazy high-scoring game. It went to OT. Kaner did the Showtime, can't hear you. Matthew started it. But the game-winning goal... That's when I started
hating Austin Matthews.
Well, the game-winning goal was Austin Matthews. I don't know how he scored this goal. Like, he had maybe a split second of high glove against Anton Forsberg when we had him. Dude, that shot, I was sitting in right behind the penalty box, and I saw that puck just leave his stick. It was like a freaking missile. And he picked the corner, and they're saying that Connor's shot is just as good at his size right now, which is unbelievable to me. And I've seen what he does in the off season? He goes to a baseball complex, and he fires pucks in there. I seen him doing that before, and he would shoot against the mat and stuff, and he would just work on his release, just snapping his wrists. And I was like, dude, this guy's dedicated, man. And
yeah,
dude, I think he could score. He could be our next 50 goal scorer eventually.
What's really crazy is that he has this talent and he's got this worth ethic as well, because, you look at guys who, there's a lot of guys out there with talent and they kind of just get by on the talent. But if you have a guy like, say, take for instance, Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. These two guys were very widely regarded as the best in what they did. But in the off season, they were constantly putting in that work. Tiger's been renowned for hitting the gym, trying to get his body in the best shape as humanly possible. And Jordan was always working on something. And when you have a player that's great like that, and he's putting in work as if he's, just trying to make the team, it makes them even better. Connor McDavid can also be put into that.
Oh yeah, they're never
into
satisfied.
That conversation on the talent with the worth ethic to take it over the top. And if you look at Bedard, man, you look at his body. This kid's not. He's not taking it easy. He's not laying back playing video games and eating Doritos. He's more built. He's compared to Connor McDavid a lot, but I think a more fair comparison would probably be Sidney Crosby. He seems to be like that type of player.
I hope so, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor McDavid is an absolute stud, but I think he's lacking like the leadership and the drive that Crosby had. That guy just, like games that they're out, Sid would will that whole team, even in that first Stanley Cup run they had. He was such a young kid and he just played awesome against Detroit. And then they had two more Stanley Cups, I think, against the Sharks and maybe Nashville, I think. But dude, the guy was a beauty. He's a great captain, 500 goal scorer, and he missed a good chunk of time with concussion problems.
Well, I'm glad that he got those concussion problems worked out.
Yeah.
But that was probably the reason why he's able to play today, was because he had that season and a half, practically 2 years of that, not that grind on his body,
Yeah, for sure. He healed up. He needed that time. He needed it. Well, with going back to Bedard, I don't know what to think yet. Is he going to be a shooter or is he going to be a playmaker?
Because I think he's both.
Well, that's the thing. I've heard that, he's got a great pass, great vision, and he's a pass first guy. And then from other people I've heard, and just by seeing it in those World Juniors, this guy wants the puck, dude. This guy wants to shoot the puck. This guy wants to celebrate the goal after. And he took over that series, that World Juniors. And he was walking through people. And I think he's going to be more of a sniper, which I think the Hawks have seriously lacked in a long time. I think they were hoping Kaner would be that sniper, but Kaner was more of a pass-first guy.
He still put up 40.
Sure, but imagine if he shot more. I think I hope Connor is the shoot first type of guy, because we need a 50-goal guy desperately. We need a guy just potting in goals for us.
Could be Taylor Radish. I'm joking.
We start off with 20, man. That's a good start.
It is, man.
That's how Patrick Sharp started, dude.
He's got somebody
he had a breakout season, and then the next year he put in, I think, 30?
35.
Yeah, I mean, you put him with good line mates, he's going to put up numbers. And, a lot of these new Hawks that we got in the last couple of years, they got to be really excited. I mean, you just got a generational talent. I'd be like, dude, I'm going to work my ass off to try to be on this guy's line. Well, and Radish should be right on there,
Something that made Kaner really good was that he kept people guessing. It's like, what's he going to do? Is he going to sauce this across the ice and hook somebody up, or is he going to take the shot? Because Kaner had a pretty fast shot, and I think Bedard is very similar to that, where he's going to try to keep people guessing on whether he's going to pass the puck or whether he's going to shoot it. They're going to probably be like, hey, you know what? Respect this guy's shot, so he's going to start dishing it off to people. Probably, Taylor Hall, and Hall's going to be a 40-goal scorer again.
That'd be awesome. Well, you know what Kaner did that the goalie that fell victim to that philosophy you just said, like he didn't know if he was going to shoot
or pass first, it was always Roberto Luongo, dude. I think Luongo had the hardest time against Kane because I think he would almost play it like, okay, this guy's definitely passing, and Kaner would just bury one high glove. Yeah, and it's like, whoa, Luongo just gave that up, you know?
Yeah,
and then Kaner just tried to wrap around on me, and he scored. What the frick is going on, you know? And he got that hat trick in 2009. And he had a hard time against Patty Kane.
Yeah, he did. He did, man. Really exciting. I can't believe, we're about, actually, now that I mention it, Edmonton, those guys, I think all 22 guys have already reported to camp. They're already 2 weeks early. They're getting things going. Boston,
I saw some Boston guys too.
Lucic is there. They're getting it going. Bedard is in Chicago. I saw him with Connor Murphy, Foligno, and Lucas Reichel. So a lot of guys they're getting things ramped up early already. Camps don't start for a couple weeks, but I think that they're getting the get to know you process going. Trying to probably feel more at home.
It is important. That's important.
It is.
Do you think they paid Foligno extra bucks just to follow him around in the city too, off the ice? I would just say, hey, you follow him wherever he goes. Just make sure.
I think that maybe they've got. I know Kaner has called him and talked to him. I think they might be looking for that to happen. Them looking for that to happen organically, because I think Foligno's got a family. So
sure, but I'm just saying more as a joke. Like, he's the bodyguard, I think he's gonna be all over this guy and making sure he's doing the right things and no one's messing with him.
I think Foligno actually is going to be more of a tone setter in the locker room than anything. I think that they're going to have him in there like, hey, look, we don't want any fucking around going on in the locker room. We don't want any hazing, or we got a lot of young guys coming in. We don't want anything crazy, and we want to make sure. Maybe he's like the locker room dad in a way, because
I think Corey Perry is going to be a bodyguard, and I do think Foligno is going to have that natural, like, don't touch my teammate or I'm going to freaking kill you mentality too.
Yeah.
But dude, we forgot to talk about one of the biggest stories, I think, that got overlooked because of the whole Chelios thing. The rumor of Patrick Kane and his surgery, everything's going well, his recovery. Yeah. They think there's a rumor of him wanting to join the Red Wings with his old line mate Alex DeBrincat. I don't know what you think about it, but for me, I think this would just absolutely kill these young kids. Like I did say, like, they don't know the rivalry, but for me, if Kane went to Detroit, dude, I mean, that would sting. It would sting a little bit.
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch the game, man.
It would sting a little bit.
To see him with that wing wheel on, 88.
And you know what? He's got history of playing there, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he played a couple junior years there, and I think he lived with Pat Verbeek, former NHL player, and I think he's the current GM of the Ducks.
Yeah. But drafted Leo Carlson.
He's got a little bit of roots there, and his buddy, his trigger man, former sniper here, Alex DeBrincat, said it was his best friend, one of his best friends ever in hockey.
I will say that we got a kid that can shoot the puck here too now.
Sure, we do.
But that's more of a Davidson thing, though.
It would still hurt a little bit seeing that.
Yeah, I agree.
And you don't want him to be successful if he goes over there. And it sounds mean, but I hope he sucks if he does go there.
Me too.
I don't want him to succeed there.
Seeing the Rangers get blown out, that was great. But you know what?
He looked good, though. I thought Kaner looked good.
Even with the bad hip, he looked like better than the Breadman did. He looked better than a lot of guys did. So
yeah, he you know what? He had a big moment where he stole that puck and just had a breakaway. Yeah. He made that other goalie look stupid, and he looked good, man. He looked like Showtime Kaner from the 2010 era.
Man, I would love. I wish Davidson would say, "Hey, you know what, man? Just come finish your career here."
Yeah, just quit being a bitch. Just say, "Hey, come on.
Hey, whatever time you need for your hip, whatever time you need for your hip, go ahead and take it. But we want you back. Just come in, and finish your career. Here, have the C while you're at it.
Dude, I would love that.
Why not?
That. I would freaking.
I don't
love that.
see why not. I don't see what it would hurt. Like this team is going to be getting along anyways. This team is going to be gelling. It's a brand new locker room anyways.
I mean, I just don't know why they wouldn't. Like, it's not. It's not like a big deal. Like we're moving on from Patrick Kane. Like why? Why? It's not like it. It's his salary's gone. The 10.5 hit, it's not there anymore.
Right.
So if anything, you're going to get him cheaper and less term. I mean, come on, it can't hurt. I just don't know why they're so fast to get rid of that, legendary Patrick Kane. Like I could see if you signed, say like Andrew Shaw to like a 10-year deal and it's finally just ending. Okay, it's Andrew Shaw. He's good and everything, but like, we got to move on from this guy. It's Kane. He's like literally royalty. If anything, just give him 1 year, Yeah. 1 year, $8 million, $7 million. Come on in, wear the C, go off into the sunset and play with Connor Bedard a couple of years, something like that.
The problem is that he's going to probably score 100 points with Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, oh, whoa, what happened to this Kane? Why wasn't he in New York last year?
Well, it's kind of, isn't it crazy when you have somebody who can play with me? Yeah. Like even with the Brinkat, he was good. They put up some good numbers.
Yeah, they did.
You just can't do it all. They can't all do it alone.
Brinkat can't do it alone, man.
You need a freaking team. Look, that's a perfect example. Is Connor McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
The guys cannot do it alone. Maybe in the season they can light it up, outscore their problems, but in the playoffs, dude, it's tight. It's tight hockey, old-time hockey, and goalies are going to steal some. And Connor's can't be on the score sheet every game. During the season he is, but sometimes the playoffs, it's low scoring, man.
Well, cool, man. That was a good one. I had a lot of fun. Guys, do us a favor. If you have any questions, get us on Twitter. We're always on there talking to people, talking hockey. The camps are opening up, I believe, in 2 weeks, but guys have already reported, so they're already getting it going. And we'll catch you on the next one. This is Tomac. We're out of here.